clicks going clack, 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 clack. You hear them clicks going tap, 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 tap.
704 beats by Alex J.
Yeah. First and 10. We in the trenches. You like the water cooler. You be on the benches. Think your team better, but they lack skill. First snap, I leave your backs in the backfield. Your quarterback scared, I see it in his eyes. Sent the receiver in motion, that's just a disguise. My linebackers, they stepping up. Clog a hole, no letting up. Taking on them big blocks. On fourth down, we get big stops. My secondary is balling out. Your offense keeps stalling out. How many yards? Like none at all. Call the special teams, come punt the ball and it's gone. And you never see me fair catch. I get a block and then I'm gone like a Learjet. My helmet on, pass strap tight. My jersey shining in them Friday night lights. Win, we just came to win. Win, we just came to win. Friday night lights. Friday night lights. Win. We must protect this house. I'm in a huddle talking to the Hawks. We gonna run it down their throat soon as we get the ball. Come out and fire off the ball, we going on one. My skill position so proficient, break for long runs. Come out running that option. That mean I got the option to keep that or pitch that. Defense, they gotta fix that. Four receivers, we spread them out in the shotgun. Hot reads, I got some. My tight end so awesome. Touchdowns, I toss some. We score 6, scoreboard, that score 6. Respect the ball, we protect the ball. We don't fumble, no throw picks. I feed my linemen pancakes, so all they blocks are pancakes. Push you around like all night. End of the game, get your handshakes, huh? My helmet on, pass strap tight. My jersey shining in them Friday night lights. Win. We just came to win. Win. We just came to win. Friday night lights. Friday night lights. Win. We just came to win. Win. We must protect this house.
And hello, KTC Broadcasting. We have Mr. Will Boykins, we have Mr. Dennis Davis, Kevin Hastings, and Kevin Hastings' kids on the other microphone. Yeah, that's them talking. And of course, I'm always for your DJ for the evening, JP. So
the DJ for the evening. He's going to be breaking out some tunes for us tonight. Y'all want to hear some tunes from DJ JP?
DJ
Y'all hear some tunes
JP.
from DJ JP?
Oh,
JP, hit it.
Rock it.
He wasn't ready. I told him to be ready.
JP, you got to be ready.
He's got some tunes for us, I know. Well, anyway, I've got some special guests for us tonight. Oh, there it is. Special tunes for you tonight, Dennis.
Oh, my
Special tunes for you tonight, Dennis.
I think that was the fight song.
If y'all want to hear that for 2 hours tomorrow morning from 8 to 10 a.m., tune in here, Saturday Morning Sports Talk, Kevin Hastings.
The fight song.
I'll have to say go Appalachian. Say go Mountaineers. No, she don't want to say it. I know. Fight. Kick ass. Hi, boys. Friday night here at KTC Broadcasting. A little fun here on KTC. I got the kids with us tonight. They stopped in to say hello. They went to the Cherryville.
Hey, Kevin's kid is almost as tall as him.
They are in the chair in their stools, aren't they? They are excited. Hey, stop for a second. They're excited about they went to a ball game tonight to see your cousin. Did you go see what's your cousin's name, Austin? Mason Grindstaff. He plays for Cherryville. They had homecoming tonight. Do you all remember the homecoming queen tonight? Gracie
Were you the
Jackson.
homecoming queen tonight?
Gracie Jackson is tonight the homecoming. Did you see the pretty girls in their dresses?
He liked Gracie Jackson.
Yeah, you saw those. Was those fun?
He wanted Gracie Jackson to be the home queen, and
is that who
he
you
was
wanted to win,
right.
is it? All right. Well, my daughter Isabel's here today. Say hello to everybody. Hello. Okay. And
That's how she says hello sometimes.
And Austin, we're here for the post game show tonight. Renaldo Automall post game show. We've got some dinner tonight we've just been chowing down on from Will
Oh,
Boykins,
my
special delivery
goodness.
from Shelby. Will, what did we just eat
We
tonight?
had sagebrush tonight. We had the chicken tips from sagebrush with some broccoli.
Broccoli.
Will's
Some
favorite,
broccoli.
that buttered broccoli.
That butter broccoli is something else.
Man, he
I'm
can
telling
chew
you.
down on some broccoli.
Do you
I
like
love
broccoli? Yeah, she likes broccoli. He doesn't eat anything, but she's like a
Thanks
little.
to the crew over
she's
there
like a
at
little goat.
Sagebrush also.
Yep. Thanks for always feeding us on Friday nights, folks. Give them a call. Go see them over at Sagebrush and Shelby. And we're getting ready to give some scores tonight. And we're going to start with the game that the kids were at tonight, Cherryville and Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson winning big tonight. Andre's going to give us a scouting report on that in just a little bit. Ironman fall tonight 64-0 at home at homecoming. Burns Bulldogs win tonight at home in a thrilling game at the end.
All
Field
the way
goal.
to the last 16 seconds.
Hit a
or so.
field goal with 8, I think, Will. It wasn't a short kick either. It was a good high school
16
football kick.
seconds. I'm sure Tom Cinefani and Matt Royster were excited
Right.
about
We
that.
we had them on mute during the kick because we had the crest game up on in there, so we had to mute that one. And we were just imagining the thrilliness of that they were going through at that point.
I'm going to have
Matt.
to go back and watch it.
Yeah, that is a thing. Also, Will, if you're watching on YouTube live, folks, you can just rewind a little bit if you want to see a replay and just control it yourself. It's not actual DVR, but I guess it is. You can rewind.
You can't rewind.
On
Tricks
our
of the
broadcast.
trade.
Yep. So you can control that, folks. We don't have the replay capability right yet, and as soon as with the internet getting faster and faster and faster, we're gonna get more and more and better as we go on here through the years. More scores on our KTC broadcast. Forest View and the Chargers were in a thrilling game over there in Gastonia. Chargers win tonight 35-28. Well, you just heard that here on the radio at the end of the post-game show there if you're watching online. And the North Lincoln Knights win over in Vail tonight against the West Lincoln Rebels, 24-14 from Jason Sane and Hunter Yancey had that game. Jason's going to stop by and drop the equipment off in a little bit, maybe give you some inside details and players of the games on that one. We'll get some calls maybe from Jeff Miller tonight, also the Crest guys on the way home. Hopefully Tom and them will give us a call. They're going to probably be some of the first ones in the bed tonight.
Well, Matt said that Tom may either drop by or call in.
That would be very nice if Tom does drop by. It just depends how much chickens, I guess, left is over where he wants
Tom,
to stop.
come on by. There's plenty of chicken.
Bring Anna with you now.
Golden Lions, 50-0 tonight up in the Mount Holly area over the East Gaston Warriors. The Mountaineers tonight put it on the Storm, 69-16. Kramer led in this game for a while.
They did.
Yes,
Most of the
they
first
did.
quarter.
Yeah, it was like 10-6 or something.
They returned the kickback, and I walked in. I had to take an extra piece of equipment there in the first quarter. So for our Kings Mountain fans, we did lose some signal there early on. We got it fixed and got it going there in the second quarter and in halftime and from there on. But when I walked in, Kramer was winning. I didn't make it to halftime. I didn't stop to get a drink. I just said hey to
Bring no
Peyton.
hot dogs.
When I left, Will, it was 33-10. It was 10-6 when I walked in.
Is that called
I
quick
walked
strike?
in, said hey to everybody, plugged in the internet, did this, did that, said hey to Peyton, walked up top. I'd never been to actual Kramer's facilities, wonderful facilities over there.
Beautiful.
And so I was just taking it in for a minute, and I blinked, and it was just crazy how quick Kings Mountain scored. Ethan Reed, right? He made some outstanding throws. They ran an out and up to one of their other receivers. It wasn't
Number
Kobe.
3.
It might have been. I'll tell you who it was in just a minute. I know exactly who it was. It might have been Ruffalo, I think, or one of the other. It wasn't 3. He did catch a pass in the back corner of the end zone.
Was absolutely, oh my goodness.
I was standing beside the cops when I was right when I was walking in when he caught that. So when he caught it, you could hear the football hit his hands, and the from up on the thing the walker you walk in. The cops like, oh my gosh, what a good throw! And the kid made a great catch. You're exactly right. So I get inside, and they next thing I know, they score. So one of the weirdest plays I've ever seen. The quarterback, I guess they were throwing a quick out or hitch whatever to the receiver. Like the receiver just took one step back. He didn't go anywhere. So they just went for a quick throw out to him. Well, whoever the defensive, it was 20. I'll get his name in a minute. I just took his picture for Kings Mountain. the kid that's being scouted by Carolina. The quarterback went to throw it. I think he saw he might pick it off, and he tried to keep it in his hands, and he just threw a bounce pass to him. But it was backwards. Straight to the Kings Mountain player.
Right.
Like, honestly, he just threw a perfect – it was a beautiful bounce pass if you're watching a basketball game. I've never actually probably seen that maybe in football. It just skipped right up into his hands. He caught it on the run, walked into the end zone 20 yards. And so there's and then the third touchdown when I was walking when I left, it was the out and up was just a beautiful throw by Reed, and I was like, ugh. It got bad quick over there. So Dennis, you'll give the rest of the scores across the board, and
sure.
we'll get into breaking down some stuff, folks. Give us a call in just a little bit. Wait till about 11 o'clock for our fans. We've got a call right now. We're going to get to some of our folks first, some of our correspondents, and everybody else across the area. We've still got 6 broadcasts. Okay, good.
Okay.
All right, JP says we got a caller. Hold on just a sec, JP.
All right,
Let Dennis
sure.
give the scores, and we'll get right to them.
All right, the Hunter Huss North Gaston score is not up on the board. The last I heard, it was 56-0 Hunter Huss. Maiden 30, Bandy's 23. To any announcers who may have graduated from Bandy, I extend my sympathy. Mountain Island Charter and Bessemer City, we don't have a score on that one yet. Chris Hawk, call in and let us know what's going on. Union Academy 60, Christ the King 0. Highland Tech and Community School of Davidson don't have a score on that one yet. And it was Chase, the Trojans, believe it or not, 50-0 over Madison tonight. And Joel just walked in. Congratulations, Joel, on a good victory for Kings Mountain tonight. We'll hit the rest of those scores.
All right, it was East Rutherford falling to RS Central 35-28. Newton Conover over Lincolnton 34-12. Freedom over St. Stephen's 48-12. Hickory over McDowell 20-14. High Brighton over Bunker Hill 28-6. No score in the East Lincoln Charter game yet. Watauga 56, South Caldwell 12. No score in the East Burke West Caldwell game yet. Drone 38.
Hold on, Terry is here. Ooh.
North Iredale 28. Just got the update. East Lincoln 48. Lincoln Charter, Lake Norman Charter 6. That's
And
I knew that was going to happen though, but I'm not going to talk about that game. Fred T. Ford over Patton 26-14. And that's the scores we have right now, and I think we got a caller, but
all right,
I want to talk about that later.
We'll come back to it. JP,
Now,
who's the caller?
He told us it was
Jeff
Davis, but I'm betting $5 it's Jeff Miller.
Probably
we
Jeff. Probably is Jeff Miller. You on there, Jeff?
Well, you just won your money.
Yeah. I'll give myself an Abraham Lincoln.
I
in
knew
just a
it was a
minute.
Jeff. I just didn't remember the last
Yeah,
name.
you folks, if you want JP to get your name right, tell him 3 times and ask him if he wrote it down, and there's a chance he may. Good evening, Jeff.
Hey, good evening, everybody. How y'all doing?
Doing great.
Heard you had an exciting game down there tonight, Jeff. Tell us about it.
Well, I mean, it was a game of big plays, and it was also a game of missed opportunities. The first missed opportunity went to Crest as they drove down Forest View's 13-yard line, didn't get it in, and then, Forest View took over, and, Forest View drew first blood of the game with Jamarian Dawkins' 3-yard touchdown run, and then Crest stormed right back with number 5 Jalen Graham touchdown. Then right before half, Forest View answered right back with Graham Wiggins to Kamari Reed, 3-yard touchdown. That was the halftime score, 14-7. Then Crest tied the game up, with a TJ Ruff touchdown. He kind of took over for them in the second half. And then Forest View ripped off a 70-yard touchdown run by Kamari Reed. Then Crest, Jalen Ruff ripped off a big touchdown of his own, this one from 80 yards. And then Ruff again from 18 yards. And then after a blocked field goal, Crest took the lead with another Ruff touchdown. Then Forest View cut it in the closing minutes. with Jalen Mims' 5-yard touchdown run, and then Forsyth tried the onside kick, didn't get it, and Crest was able to run out the clock. But Forsyth missed 2 key opportunities. Crest turned the ball over twice in their own territory, and Forsyth on a touchdown pass, he made it to the 1-yard line but fumbled in the end zone, and Crest recovered for a touchback. And then that blocked field goal came after another Crest interception. So missed opportunities by both teams in that game, but the bigger one seemed to impact Forsyth.
Well, other than that, it was just a dull, boring game, right?
That's a whole lot. There's a whole lot going on in that game.
Sounds like they were rocking and rolling over there tonight in Forest View. And I'll be honest with you, Jeff, I didn't think that this game would have been as close as it was. So Forest View must have had some good things going on tonight with their home field.
Oh, yep. I believe Forest View's definitely gotten better. They just need to, cut out the mistakes and the penalties. Penalties started hurting them too in the second half, and that play that contributed to to a lot of miscues or missed opportunities. And of course, Crest had a few penalties of their own as well. But seems 2 weeks in a row, Crest has had to fight from behind to claim their victories.
Well, I saw your colleague Anthony tonight. He was up at the Burns South Point game, and talk about a close score. Burns came down and kicked a field goal with 16 seconds to go to win 30-28. So I'm sure you guys had close games. And we just got this score in. It was Bessemer City 20, Mountain Island Charter 19 tonight.
Oh,
so
my.
close games all around tonight.
Second year in a row, Bessemer City came away with that game.
Yeah, and I think that was predicted by Terry and the boys on the pregame show that Bessemer City might take that one, and Kevin's got a grin on his face.
Ain't no Terry and the boys. Terry did. The boys did.
Oh, okay.
And I'm sorry,
We stand corrected.
I'm sorry
Come
for
take a
that.
bow, Terry.
Go ahead.
Hey, Jeff, you got any news from? I know you was at the Crest Forest View game. You got any news from the Hunter Huss North Gaston game?
No, I do not. I mean, I do know that Kings Mountain was beating Stuart Kramer 55-16 at some point. You got the final for that game?
69-16.
And we have Joel in the studio here to tell us all about it. And Mac played tonight. Said he was running over people, right, Joel? Mm-hmm.
And
I'm gonna get Kevin to come in here and turn his mic on real quick so Joel can speak up. Thank you, Kevin. Go ahead, Joel.
Oh, yeah. He mostly got to play the second half after the clock. They did the running clock, but the 2 touchdowns that he scored, he was just bouncing off players left and right the entire third quarter.
He came in the second half.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
And scored 2 touchdowns.
Scored 2 touchdowns, but his yards per carry was big tonight. I don't know what the final yard was because, like I said, it was running clock, but Varsity they was just bouncing off of him.
I mean, I saw Kings Mountain play last week against Shelby. Sorry, he didn't call in because I was kind of doing a post-game show of my own also. But, Kings Mountain's the real deal. I could see them playing in December, in the state title games. I mean, they were that impressive.
They are. Defensively wise, they got one of the best front five I've seen. Their defense is just strong all the way across the board. They manhandle the offensive line, whoever they play, and I think they'll go deep. I can see them playing in December, and if they're going to do it, this is the year that they can do it because they got the complete ball team.
If everybody stays healthy and stay focused, because one of their coaches told me that they didn't have a good practice this week.
Well, it showed in the first quarter.
Hey, first of all, I like to give Stuart Kramer props because we kicked it off to them. They ran it right down their throats, 80-yard return, and it was 7-0 just like that. And then we came back and it was 7-6, and they went right downfield. We were struggling to stop them. And then they came in and kicked the field goal, made it 10-6. And I just want to thank their hospitality because they got some good food, some good cheeseburger and some nachos.
I'm just wondering about your hospitality. Did you bring one of those cheeseburgers to me, or
everyone wants it because they hand me extra.
We got some chicken and broccoli in there that Will brought, so you guys can negotiate a trade deal here.
You guys got the North Lincoln, West Lincoln score?
Yes, we do. Let me find it.
Unfortunately, on that score, I'm gonna have to give it to you.
Yeah, there it is.
North Lincoln took the win 24-14 over West Lincoln. Now I had predicted that score on our Wednesday show. I had predicted that score flip flop. I had West Lincoln 21. I had North Lincoln at 14.
There is no joy in Vale tonight.
Oh,
the mighty
my
Terry has struck out.
I thought that being that West Lincoln was at home, that would make a difference in that ball
Yeah.
game. So that's why
I would have
took
taken West Lincoln in a very, very close game to edge that one. But kudos to the North Lincoln Knights. They seem to be for real, and right now they should be in the driver's seat in that conference.
Yeah, they are. The way it's looking, you can take Bandy's out of the picture now. You got North Lincoln, East Lincoln, and Mayton that's going to compete for that conference.
All right. Well, Joel, Jeff was at the Forest View Crest game, and Jeff, we appreciate you taking the time to call in and talk to us about Forest View and a little bit about Crest. And who does Forest View have next week?
They travel to Ashbrook.
Okay, what's your prediction on that? It's which Ashbrook shows up?
Yeah, that's pretty much the big picture. And, here's a kryptonite thing for you. Forest View has not won at Ashbrook since 2001, and that was just a few months after I graduated high school.
Yeah.
Could this be the year?
It might possibly be. A lot of strange things are happening this year. A lot of chains have been broken from teams that have been losing for multiple years. Well, Jeff, we got another caller coming in here. We appreciate your loyalty and giving us a call, and hopefully you'll give us a buzz next week and let us know how that Ashbrook game goes.
Yes, sir.
All right. JP,
we got Steve Degree.
roll the drums for Steve Degree.
Them your drones you rolled for Steve Degree.
All right.
Steve, you there?
Yes, sir. How y'all doing?
Doing great.
Steve, not everybody gets the
Steve,
hand clap drum roll.
You got that right. Steve, I just want to let you know, Joel from Kings Mountain, he came in here with some cheeseburgers, so now he done one-upped you already. You got cheeseburgers in here. Before you even talk about your Golden Lions tonight, I want to talk about this food thing, Steve.
But look here, man. All you got to do is give me a call, man. It's on me, baby.
Well, tell us about the Lions tonight.
Well, we just came out and we just had too much fun tonight, Everybody played good. Our defense played lights out again. Led by Jimmy Richner. He had a lot of tackles, some for loss. Our defense played great. Had a couple interceptions. And Kamari Husky.
Oh, my goodness.
He ran back 2 punts for touchdowns. And the last one, nobody even touched him.
Yeah, I saw that last one. Nobody even get close.
And the strangest play I've ever seen in football, on the kickoff, the kid from East Gaston picked the ball up, started running formally with it, and it rolled in the end zone, and it fell on and gave us a safety.
Yeah.
I've never seen that before.
Well, that's
Strange,
certainly
man.
unusual. Oh, he put a nice crest helmet over here with us, Will. Steve, I run into Bob Sherman today over at his place of business there, and I was giving him a little hard time about, since you boys beat Crest so bad, I told him, I said, I felt his pain, and he assured me tonight that you would take care of business. So my hat's off to Bob's prediction and the Golden Lions. You really took care of business tonight, 50-0. Give a shout out to some of the players that you saw that did a good job tonight on the line.
Okay, on the offensive line, some of the guys were down from last week, because they couldn't block those two down guys from Kings Mountain.
Yeah,
So
they're a handful, though.
They are a handful. And Gash, number 76. He had a lot of. They had a lot of blocks, but he done great tonight. The middle of the line did great, and gave Isaiah a lot of time to throw the ball.
Yep.
And Spencer Triplett always does a good job at centering. Thomas Hover's at one guard, and we played Zay Hopper a little bit at one guard, and then Max Mooney played, and then Jalen Kimball, number 52. And I don't want to miss nobody. I think that's all of them. And then we had Ethan Mitchell play a little guard, and we didn't play Shahadi Mitchell tonight. He was banged up a little bit, so we went to a hub back. We call it ace back. Had Jack to play hub, and also we used Ikey Bridges. We changed his number, and he played a little bit blocking back for us tonight too. So all those kids, they sacrificed what they had to do, to come back to get a good conference win. Because like Coach Wilbanks said, that game last week, you want to win it, but that ain't what you get you to the promised land.
That's right. We keep talking about that, Steve. It's like, tonight was some of the first conference games, and to Burns, they won their conference game tonight, so that was a double big win for them. But it's like I told the South Point crew, when they lost to Crest at the first of the year, it's not a problem. It's not a conference game. Those are the ones that you really want to win, and the Golden Lions took care of business tonight and won a very decisive victory over a conference foe.
I want to make sure I said Thomas Owens too. I was trying to think, because all of them my guys, all the linemen got to play. C.J. Hefner, Jackson Bowman, Tyler Carpenter, but all the linemen that dress played, and that was great to see some of them guys in, because on the close game, those guys don't get in, but you can't practice without those guys.
Right.
And then they stopped the clock in the second quarter. We was only up 34-0, and they did a run the clock. We was only up 34-0.
Yeah.
And they did the run the clock then, which I didn't understand that either.
Well, it's supposed to be a little bit higher score. What is it, 42?
I thought it was 42.
Yeah. Right. And so y'all got an early start on the running the clock.
Well, it must be 35.
Yeah. Mutual consent of the coaches, I think, is how that happened, Steve. Yeah. And they saw the handwriting on the wall. They knew who they were playing and didn't want it to get too far out of hand. The more time you give the Lions, the more points they put on the board, right?
Yep. If you don't mind, fellas, the middle school Blue Devils, we won 44-0 this week, and we beat East Rutherford Middle School 44-0. They've had beaten us the two previous years.
Yeah.
So I was glad to see our guys come back and win. And if you don't mind, if I'm not out of order,
no,
we're gonna be doing a fundraiser for the Cherryville Middle School Blue Devils football team. We got some new jerseys, and we got to raise a little money to pay for them.
I understand how that works.
Now some of y'all guys, we're gonna be selling food for $10. If you don't mind, if you want to get a plate of food, you'll be able to pick the food up on the same night we play Burns.
Yeah.
At the Cherryville Middle School.
Oh,
between 4 o'clock and 6:30. The plates are only $10, and Miss Jorica Best will be cooking the food. She's an excellent cooker.
Yeah.
And if you want to get a ticket in advance, you can see me or Coach Bowden or some of the kids that play for the middle school team.
Yeah.
They would be there next week at the home game in their jerseys selling tickets. The tickets are only $10. And if you decide that you just want to give a donation and not pick up the food, we'll certainly appreciate that too. And if you wanted to write a check, gentlemen, or anybody who's listening, make sure you write it to the Cherryville Middle School football team, So we go to us playing for our new jerseys that we got, so we can make our kids look good. You know what I'm saying?
Well, if you
Sometimes
look
it's just
good,
money.
you play good.
Right. Sometimes the money's just not there to do everything that you need to do. Of course, everybody knows that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so that's what we want to do, and I'm glad y'all gave me a chance to say that. So it's gonna be October the 18th at the Burns, before the Burns game.
Well, that
Come
should
by
be a
Shep-
big one.
Yeah, come by Cherryville Middle School and pick up your plate. And if you want to deliver it, just let me know what we can do. You have to try to get early though if you want me to deliver it, because you know where I'm gonna be at.
And probably a minimum number of plates. Don't be ordering one plate and expect Steve to deliver it.
Well, I do what I got to do for our kids. That's what I got to do. So it's all about them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I do whatever I got to do. And our new coach is doing great things. Coach Bowden is doing great things over there. We got a great coaching staff. We even got Mr. Don Pat's grandson.
Oh.
He's coaching with us. We got Coach Tripley. He graduated from Crest. We have Lamar Woods. He coached Lorraine last year. We got an ex-Golden Lion, Jeff Ross. He's our quarterback coach. And we have two kids who play college football. Coach Mills, he's our offensive defensive line coach. And we got Coach Dawkins, he played in Morris Hill. So those guys are younger, and they really can relate to to what we're trying to do.
Well,
So,
you brought back a familiar name with Don Pack. Don was a great guy. We were good
Right.
friends, and I coached against him. And I tell you what, that swinging door slammed shut on my fingers a few times.
Yeah. So, Coach Howard, his name is Coach Howard. Actually, if you go back, Chuck Hoyle.
Yeah.
That would be his. Chuck would be his cousin, I guess.
Yeah.
And actually, Cynthia Pack is Coach Howard's mother, who is Coach Don Pack's daughter. So we got some good coaches at the middle school.
Yep.
We just want the fans to give us time, because it's taking these kids a little while to learn this offense, because you got to check off and you got to do this, you got to do that. But so far it's so good. So we just got to hang in there and just do what we got to do.
All right, Steve, we got to get to a break. You guys got the Hilltoppers, the Trojans, and then the big game with the Burns Bulldogs in 3 weeks here on KTC Broadcasting. Steve, thanks for calling every week, buddy.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you, Kevin, y'all for me letting hang out in the press box.
Oh, yes, sir.
I really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Steve Degree. Shelby Golden Lions win tonight, 50 to nothing. Like I said, they got the Hilltoppers next week of RS Central at the Chase Trojans, and then the Bulldogs. Thank you, Steve, and as always, for giving us coverage from the Shelby Golden Lions and, of course, the middle school and other happenings in the Shelby area.
Right. One more thing. Shelby Middle School, we got Chase this week at Wednesday at George Blanton Stadium, and then the following week we play Crest. So y'all guys might want to start trying to get some coverage for that, because that'll put both teams undefeated for the conference championship.
All right, Steve.
Okay.
Well, have a good night, Steve, and great weekend.
Thank you, brother.
And go Mountaineers of Appalachian, right?
You got that right.
Hit it, JP. He's
Oh,
not
Lord.
here.
JP Sleep.
Sleep. Hey, you're practicing tonight for a while. We got 2 hours for Tom Cinefani tomorrow. He's going to come in a little bit. He's listening now. He knows what's about. Only because Tom, this is why. Terry's getting it too. Tom said at least by 4 touchdowns, Carolina wins. At least by.
Was he talking about North Carolina?
Little off on that one. We got South Carolina in a couple weeks. I talked to South Carolina Gamecock expert fan Calvin Albright himself yesterday at the Bessemer City Scoreboard unveiling, and he's worried about the Mountaineers coming down to the Gamecocks.
He should be. He should be.
He said we might not win another game. He calls them the chickens.
The last good Mountaineer that went to Columbia was Sparky Woods.
Hunter Huss fight on 56-0 over the Wildcats. But last night they did unveil. I've got my Bessemer City helmet here in front of me. You folks watching online, they unveiled the new scoreboard over there, the only video scoreboard in Gaston County. They had the Wilson family out there dedicating it. Jeff dedicating it to his mom. Linda goes with Lynn Wilson out there on the scoreboard. Like I said, my joke with them, was that they misspelled my name on the scoreboard, but that's
Yeah.
okay. You know, we'll be okay.
The
with
Kevin
it.
Hastings Memorial
But
Scoreboard.
they've got ability for replay. They've got ability to sell ads and do some other stuff. So they've just got to figure out how to use it. It's brand new. Coach
Yeah.
Boone said I don't know any of the buttons, so I told him if y'all need any help, I'll come over. I saw Miss Shoemaker, formerly Miss Owens, yesterday, and at the thing too, I told her that I'd come help or whatever they need. So the scoreboard looks pretty nice. It kind of really looks a lot like the Crest scoreboard, a little bit bigger, you know.
I swear.
Had to get one in on you, Will. It does look a lot like
the only
it.
thing
It
about
does look a lot
the only
like
thing
it.
about their scoreboard, Will, that it only goes to single digits.
Yeah, the guest side, you're right. Bedford City wins tonight, 20-19. All right, we got to take a break, JP. When we come back, we'll give more scores, more breakdowns. Semifinals coming to the house. I think Jason Sane might stop by in just a minute to talk about that North Lincoln West Lincoln game he was at. He's got to eat some sagebrush chicken tonight, right, Will?
Oh, it's
Oh
good.
boy!
Come
Oh.
on
No,
down.
he's don't eat all the broccoli. The broccoli is so.
You can have my share of broccoli. I'm
Man,
not a broccoli
broccoli is
fan.
something.
You can take the
Jesus.
rest of the broccoli home, Will.
I've already had 2 shares. of
Everyone
broccoli.
loves the broccoli.
Stay
that
out
likes
of the
the broccoli. I'm not
broccoli,
saying it's not
JP.
good. I'm saying
I tell you
I
what.
don't eat. I don't like broccoli.
It's good broccoli.
This
I
is
never
so
grew
much
it.
better
It
than
is
that
cheese on top of it.
soup
Better,
we
Brian.
had last
No,
week.
it's
I
fine.
have to say thank you
Fills
to the
up a little bit better.
sagebrush.
Yeah, thank you, Sagebrush, for dinner tonight. We'll be back in a few minutes. KTCBroadcasting.com.
Is your car's windshield cracking you up? Well, you may need to see the windshield doctor. That's Carolina Auto Glass, located at 408 South Post Road in Shelby. Carolina Auto Glass goes the distance to ensure your safety and satisfaction. And they will handle all of your insurance claims too. Plus, free on-site estimates are available, and they do work on sunroofs. Just call 704-480-1885 for Carolina Auto Glass, 408 South Post Road in Shelby. Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. That's Carolina Auto Glass of Shelby. At Carolina Federal Credit Union in Cherryville, they treat you like family because you are. Making the most of your money starts by managing and growing your money. Come by Carolina Federal Credit Union in Cherryville and learn how you can protect your money and actions you can take. Plus, they can provide you with hints and tips. Learn more by visiting their website at carolinafcu.org or drop by their office at 1200 East Church Street in Cherryville. Become part of their family today.
Since 1965, Cleveland Community College has been known for creating a fierce workforce. So it's no surprise our athletes will be fierce too. Introducing the Yetis of Cleveland Community College. We're fierce, stealthy, and a bit mysterious. Come see our team in action starting in September with men's and women's cross country. Softball takes the field next spring, and our baseball team comes up to bat in the spring 2021. Oh, and we're now accepting applications for fiercely loyal fans. Visit clevelandcc.edu for team schedules and more information.
And we're back on our Friday night sports talk show. That's Saturday morning with, of course, Will Boykins, Dennis Davis.
It's
and
the
That's
Renaldo.
the wrong show.
Ronaldo
This
Automall.
is the Renaldo
next to-
Auto Mall post
Yeah,
game show.
I know. I forgot to say Ronaldo. I'm so used to saying Saturday
yourself
morning
to get on the
sports
show.
talk because,
It's the
Yeah.
family hour with.
good Lord help us all. Anyways, we have Trey on the phone.
Okay.
Hold
so
on
you
for
know.
a second, Trey. We're gonna say my kids are gonna say goodbye to everybody tonight after they went to the Cherryville game. Bedford City Yellow Jackets won. The Mountaineers won tonight. I need y'all for the Tar Heels and other fans out there. Say go Mountaineers one more time for y'all go to bed, okay?
Go Mountaineers.
Yeah. There we go, Jay. I didn't have to say it. He should have known. He's getting better at his job.
I tell you what.
He's getting better.
Is that where y'all at?
That's
Yeah. Bless your
And
heart.
then she chased me to have.
John Carter would be proud of you.
No, ma'am. I
Will
will
fell
not
off
let
the-
him get away
Will
with
fell
that.
off the seat on that.
Come here. I want you. Come to me.
No.
I'm gonna let her
gosh.
rebuttal that.
I didn't know
last
she was going to
remark.
talk on the thing.
I do believe you chased me to Charlotte.
That's right. Well, either way, I got 2 proofs that I won, Will.
Well,
Well, I would hope 3, considering you did marry her.
Well, thanks, JP.
the fortunate thing is this young
And you
cutie
let
here took
JP
after
win.
Mama.
Yeah.
Great. It's a great thing that she took after her mom. I'm glad y'all look like y'all's
This
mama.
beautiful young lady here sitting on my lap.
Your
All right.
daddy got a face for radio.
All right, y'all say bye. Pop and Nana's probably listening and watching too on YouTube. Say hey to them too.
Hey, Pop.
All right, guys. Y'all have a good night. Yeah, we enjoyed some sagebrush chicken and broccoli. Y'all go have a good night. And we'll get to some more sports talk in just a minute as Tom Center finally just walked in the house. Tom, we got chicken down the hall. Joe, you can stay right there.
And we got Trey on the line.
I'll hop up. Trey's on the line.
JP, give us Trey.
Tom's going to join us in just a second, and I'm going to hop up. All right, Trey, what's up?
Hey, Trey.
What's going on, guys? How y'all doing?
I tell you what, you had me sweating bullets there for a while tonight, Trey. Fill me in on what happened and how the mighty Chargers came back.
Well, it was tight game, Dennis. Going into about the halftime, it was tied. I'm sorry, it's 21-14. I believe Forest View was up. We come out. First possession, Crest fumbles the ball. Forest View gets it. They go down. So about the tight end's about to score. He gets stripped of the ball, so Crest recovers in the end zone for a touchback. We go on a long drive and tie it up. The next kickoff, they get it on the 30, and their little running back, number 20, takes off for 70 yards and scores a touchdown. So by then, I was getting a flashback of the Freedom Crest game, going back and forth, where we got 7 touchdowns in the third quarter. So then on the very next possession, T.J. Ruff takes it 80 yards on the very next play for a touchdown. I said, this is crazy. I said, you can't write this stuff. You can't make it up. But it was an exciting game. The Crest defense buckled down in the second half, Dennis. They stopped them on 4 straight drives, I believe, stopped Forest View. So T.J. Ruff was in at quarterback, and he ran the old run-pass option to perfection.
Yeah.
He ended up with about 168 yards and 3 touchdowns rushing. He did some damage at the beginning as running back, but then he went and moved to quarterback. And Forest View just didn't have an answer for him, Dennis. He just basically carried that offense and that team. The defense, like I said, buckled down. They were getting tired, and I think Forest View was gassed a little bit at the end. The Crest will take the win as any way they can get it right now. So, good conference win, good way to start the conference 1-0. So, we look to next week, play some Stuart Kramer at Crest High School. So we'll go on the next week and see if we can get another W in the conference. But a great win and a hard-fought win. Forest View's a good team. They are a good team, and they came out to play the first half. And they've got some speed at the skill positions, and that quarterback can throw it a little bit. So, Crest played good. They have to play good to win.
Well, Joel's here from Kings Mountain, and he's looking at me like, we'll see you the last game of the year. But I could see Crest and I could see Kings Mountain coming into the last game of the year undefeated in conference play, and that's what really counts. And
I think Hunter Huss has got something to say about that.
Well, they might have a thing or two.
You can't omit them, and anybody in this conference can win. This conference is solid up and down, top to bottom, and it's like the Shelby Burns conference. It's pretty solid. The top half of the conference, and the Big South has always been one of the top conferences in the state. To be honest with you, as football goes, so I heard Kings Mountain score. They Stuart Kramer pretty good tonight, so. Congratulations. I think all the county teams won tonight, didn't you?
They did, and we beat all the Gaston County teams. And Tom Cinefani just walked in, and Kevin's breaking out the old Burns helmet here. And Tom's looks like he played about 4 quarters himself. He had a tight one there. Kicked a field goal with 16 seconds to go and won 30-28, Trey. So
Good for Tom and good for Burns, and David's that coaching staff's done a great job up here this year. So that conference is going to be beneficial for them, and congratulations to all the county teams winning. But we're not thinking about that Kings Mountain game yet. We got a long way to go.
I know.
To play with Kings Mountain, so they're on a roll right now. So it's I wouldn't want to play them right now, so I'm glad we don't. We got a couple of weeks to go before we get to them. We got to focus on next week.
Well, I can't let you go without asking about the Springmore Bulldogs. There's more than one Bulldog team here, Tom.
Yeah, we're 2-0. The Midgets are 2-0. We're had a good win last week up at Burns. Played Upper Cleveland. Beat them 32-12. So Upper Cleveland's a good team. They had some good athletes. They were fundamentally sound. One of the best fundamentally sound teams that will play this year. So we had to be pretty good, real good to win that game, and we had to execute. I think we scored on all the possessions we had the ball, so you can't ask for more than that.
Superior coaching, that's the key, right, Trey?
It's far from that, Dennis. Far from that. So we got the Battle of Boiling Springs tomorrow, Dennis. I believe both teams are undefeated. Midgets at 1 o'clock.
Wow.
So we'll see what comes of that game, and these teams both feed in the crest. So you get a look at what's going to be coming up in a couple of years to the middle school and the high school and JVs and varsity in a couple of years, 5-6 years from now. So I can't hang up without telling them it's the best concession stand in the county, Dennis. I'm telling you.
Best concession.
It's better than the Cleveland County Fair.
Oh, now wait a minute.
Oh my goodness.
You just so will.
Elephant ears and vinegar fries don't have nothing on the fried chicken.
Listen, I need to get up young.
Chili cheese nachos, Dennis. That's right up your alley, isn't it?
We might need to be broadcasting from over at Springmore.
We might need to do a broadcast on that game tomorrow.
We'll put you on top of the concession stand and feed you all you want.
Now, Kevin, how can we turn down a deal like that? We might even bring Joel with us.
Hey, it's a great time. We have a good time out there. We had a great turnout 2 weeks ago when we played the Shelby Lions. So hope everybody can come out, watch some good football, watch the kids get out there and have at it, and watch the hard work pay off on both teams. So it's going to be great, and we're looking forward to it tomorrow. And just glad the Chargers win, and hopefully we can get a Cowboys win Sunday night against the Saints.
No, see, Trey, you was doing fine.
All right, Trey, thank you for calling.
You was doing fine, Trey. Hey, I want to run them Bulldogs win for it because my boy Nick played for that team. I just happen to know. Do you know a guy named Nick that played for that team?
I do. I know him a little bit.
You know him a little bit. Well, I want you to tell that fella when you see him, tell him I said have a great game. I want him to have about 10 pancakes and about 5 sacks tomorrow.
He's listed now. We're on the way back, so he's listed now. So he's gonna play. He plays center, so he gets pounded about every play. So he enjoys it. And, he plays about anywhere on the line. So it's at that age they get out there and they learn. You watch them learn and watch them grow each year. And I'm a little bit harder on him. I probably should be, but that's probably the daddy in me.
That's the daddy in you. Coaches' kids have to expect to get more work than everybody else because they can't let up on the coach's kid, especially if it's your son. The coach's kid's got to do more work.
Well, Trey, we appreciate you calling, my man, but we got to talk about some other Bulldogs. Tom Centofanti's in the house. We appreciate it. Call next week and let us know how that Stuart Kramer game.
Does Tom have a voice left to talk?
I don't think so.
It was rough, Trey. It was rough. Dennis said it looked like I played, but
good win for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, it's been about 30 years since I played, so no, I didn't play in the game tonight, but it feels like I did. Thanks, Trey, for calling in.
All right,
good luck to your Bulldogs tomorrow.
See you now.
All right, man. Thanks, sir.
All right, Tom, I go over to Burns tonight, to Lawndale, to see you guys take on, South Point Red Raiders. You guys were flinging that ball down the field. It ended up 14-14 at the halftime. I had to leave, head over this way. Fill us in. What happened in the second half, Tom?
I think both defenses got a little tired. South Point found something they liked, and Burns found something they liked. And both defenses had a hard time stopping it. South Point, if you guys were watching any of it here in the studio, they were wanting to get the ball on the left hash and then run that play to the right. Mm-hmm. And they would hit that, I want to say it's the Hogue kid, number 40. And they'd hit him up the middle, and then they'd run a little pitch play to the Rose kid or the King kid or somebody else. And Burns had a hard time stopping it. In the first half, they did better. In the second half, South Point really liked that play. And just Burns had a hard time stopping it. But I think South Point ran the dive effectively. And that opened up that pitch play. And Burns in the second half really had a hard time stopping it. And then South Point couldn't stop Keywan Pryor. I mean, they just brought in Nick Jackson as an extra blocker. They brought in Silas Tate, a couple of their big guys, and just put Sweezy up under center. They ran a couple counter plays, they ran a couple toss plays, but basically it was number 8's getting the ball, can you stop them? And the answer was no on the last 2 drives. So
I would credit that more to good coaching on both teams, but both defense. It's just hard to play defense when it's 90 degrees, boys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and
it's
it's
late
just warm, and
September.
the boys were just wore out on defense, and both teams were able to impose their will on offense. But the smartest thing that Burns did on the last drive was they played keep away. They ran. I want to say I had it written down here. How many plays that last drive? The last drive for Burns, they take the ball with 2 minutes 59 seconds. They go 11 plays. They go 69 yards, and I wrote down the play. Number 8, number 8, number 8, number 8, number 8. I mean, it's just.
I see a theme here, Tom.
It's a theme here. So number 8, Pryor ends up 26 carries, 265 yards, and a couple of touchdowns. But it was just really just a outstanding performance by Kewan Pryor, but a very good coaching job with the Burns High School staff on their last drive, knowing we can't put our defense back out on the field. They're exhausted. And South Point has like 5 or 6 guys that carry the ball. You've watched them well. I mean, you never know who's going to get the ball, and it's always somebody with fresh legs that's got the ball. The 4 or 5 guys are carrying it. So a great job by saying, okay, we're just gonna play keep away, and the crowd's getting antsy because we're taking time. I said, no, they know what they're doing. They're gonna take this ball down. Benfield, I'd say his range 40 yards in. They got it to the 11-yard line, 28-yard kick. I mean, that kick would have been good for 45 yards. He boomed it.
Yeah.
So I mean, and wasn't a long field goal. This is a pressure kick for Benfield, and he nailed it. I mean, he nailed
Won the
it.
game.
And won the game. So just a great job. You can't say enough really though about the South Point team getting up off the carpet. I mean, Burns hit him with a 80-yard touchdown, and then they went for it on 4th down, didn't get it, gave Burns a short field. They go down and score another touchdown. That's 14-0. Dennis, I thought, man, we're going home early tonight. This thing's going to be over. And South Point, I'm telling you, once they get that red bone offense working, Dennis, it's hard to stop.
Oh yeah, and I talked to the South Point radio crew, Tom. You and Matt were down there doing your thing, and I was talking to the guy up there, and basically he said this was a very crucial game for South Point. 1, it's a conference game, and 2, they needed a win to get up off the carpet. And I think that's why they came back fighting as hard as they did after you guys had basically punched them out for 2 touchdowns, making it 14-0. They knew that their season balance hung on coming back on you guys. Give them credit. It was 28-27 with 16 seconds to go, and as you said, the Benfield kid comes in, Cool Hand Luke.
Yeah, I mean, really,
Boom.
He's not a nervous kid. I mean, I've known him I've known him since he was a little kid running around in kindergarten with my kid. I mean, I've known him for a long time, know his parents, good family. But he's a cool customer, and he went in there and nailed that field goal. Now, like I said, not tremendously long, 28 yards, but I'm telling you, that thing would have been good from about 45 yards at least. He really nailed it. It was a good job. Center, holder, kicker all did their job there. But what South Point took away is Burns likes to run screens. They like to, just come back up, throw the ball on the flat, or they like to run another one where they let the defensive lineman come up, and they like to sneak that guy out behind in between the 2 levels of the defense.
Right.
It's usually Jaquan Degree or somebody who can make a play in space. South Point took that away. There's a couple drop passes that hurt Burns.
Yeah.
But South Point wouldn't let them, get that aspect of their offense going. So you got to give credit to the Burns coaching staff. You're going to take that away. Well, they found something. Somebody saw something, because Sweezy didn't go up under center until the last 2 drives. Somebody saw something and said, this is going to work, and it did. So Coach Beaver, Coach Goss, Coach Devine, those guys on the offensive side of the ball, they just great job tonight.
Coach Goss, this is not his first game. He may have had a little previous experience that he reached back in the bag and pulled out one. And talking with this crew, everybody knows South Point doesn't throw the ball.
They did tonight.
That's the thing I was getting to, Tom. Yeah. He said, we're throwing the ball tonight. They spent all day Tuesday at practice doing nothing but throwing the ball. He said, and I don't want to quote him, I'll paraphrase him here, but basically he says, that's pretty good for a Tuesday. But said, we don't have a history of throwing the ball. Burns does. And I know you guys hit some deep passes because you've got the speedy receivers that can get down the
Hit
field.
Twitty on the hit Twitty late, but it didn't really mean anything because the clock ran out. I'm gonna go back and look at the film, Dennis. Something must have happened. Sweezy was scrambling. I think a safety came up and thought he was gonna take off. Leslie was all. It looked like he was catching a punt. I mean, there wasn't anybody near him. So something went wrong in the South Point defense there. But like I said, I was watching Sweezy. I mean, I was just getting my papers ready. I look up and there's the ball going down the field. So I'll look at that and see what happened.
But right before the halftime, I mean, they were bombing it, and a couple of them were dropped. But then the kid caught the ball, but 0-0 on the clock.
Well, they're going to give you that. Yeah. I'm going to give you that with 6 seconds left to go. I mean, it looks good in the stat sheet, 50-yard pass. But
I thought he had a chance on that one.
Yeah.
If he'd have hit him while he was running, I thought on that play, if he'd hit him
if you look at that one, though, if you look at
up just a little bit.
If you have a chance, go back and look at it, because what looked like, he thought he had help over the top, and the help didn't come there, because he let Twitty go, and he was right in between two defenders, and Sweezy saw it and hit him, but he wasn't able to get into the end zone. I think he might have had a decent chance of getting there.
Or if he could have got a timeout.
Yeah,
you got to get a field goal.
You could have got a field goal, but with 6 seconds left, that ball's probably in the air 3 seconds. So that's just tough.
It's
in that
a catching
situation.
time,
But I think for Burns and their program is learning how to win. And there might have been some games in the past few years where they lost that game, but not tonight. You learned not to panic. You know what works. Giving the ball to number 8's usually a winning formula for your team, and that's what they did, and they came away with the win.
Interesting conversation with these guys again on the radio crew, and they have an excellent radio crew because they've done it over the years. Very professional sound. Not anything against you and Matt, but I enjoyed talking to them to see the other side. And he was asking this question. He says, how has Coach Devine turned this program around? And I said, well, Coach Devine has gone down to the schools at the level of, the little kids, and he started teaching them what he wants them to do when they get up here.
Get them buy-in.
And he's got the kids in the process. He's building a program. And the guy says, and long term, he's going to be very successful. I said, that's what you guys have done in Belmont over the years. You started these kids running this offense that you're so famous for when they're 8 years old.
Right.
They learn how to, tackle you below the knees from the time they're 8 years old. So by the time they get to high school, and I thought South Point had a little success when they went back to doing what South Point traditionally does. They didn't know how to throw the ball, and as a result of that, when they tried to pass the ball, they got lucky a time or two, but by and large, their success come 3 yards in a cloud of dust.
Yeah, but I'm going to tell you, that one pass they hit down the sidelines a couple times, and I'm worried they're going to hit us over the top. That was a good-looking ball by the Davis kid.
Oh, yeah.
He threw a good-looking pass.
And he's their third-string quarterback,
right.
too.
I mean, that was a good-looking pass. They've had some issues, one quarterback dismissed for team issues, another one got hurt. But I was impressed with their ability to that 4th down and 8. I don't know if you guys watched that. Davis threw that in a bucket. I mean, right there in his arms, right there at the 50-yard line. So they could throw it when they needed to. I mean, you could ask a kid, okay, it's 4th
but that's
and 8.
not their bread and butter.
It's not their bread and butter, but as they develop that, that's going to make it more dangerous.
And when you have that element to what you already do really well, when you add that passing element to that, it'll bring, because they're down. Everybody knows that. South Point not taking nothing away from the Bulldogs, but they're down this year.
Yeah, but they're down on the. I think they're down on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
I think the offense is starting to come around because you guys know that you just can't put somebody out there to run that offense with all that motion.
Well, that's what they said.
Pitches.
He's never done this.
Right. It's one of those things that looks simple, but it's not. I mean, you've got to know what you're doing. You got to work on the timing.
All
it takes
and
practice.
And it's a lot of reading.
Right. It's
a
lot of read.
And you hit the nail on the head. The guy was saying to me, says, as we were following along, he was saying, look, here's where his inexperience comes in. His pitch is either too late or too early. He's not getting the read on that guy, and therefore when you don't get the read on that guy and you panic and just go ahead and make that pitch.
There were a couple times he pitched it a little bit behind who he was going to. Yeah, there was a couple times, like I see what you're talking about, but as the season goes on, they're not going away. I mean, they're going to get to 5-6 wins at least. They'll be in the playoffs. And are you really going to want to play South Point in the first round?
No.
I mean, I don't think.
And here's
anybody's
the
gonna
good
wanna play
thing,
South
Tom,
Point
from
in the
that
first round.
standpoint. They may knock off somebody that will help Burns move up in the standings.
Depends on where they are, though, because they're going to be big 2A. I don't know if Burns will beat big 2A. Their numbers are about 1,000. Our numbers are about 900. So it just depends on, we're getting ahead
So
of
we can
ourselves.
have 2A state championships come out of Cleveland County this year.
Possibly. I mean, I think Shelby and Burns will both be little 2A. I think they're both around the same.
They will not let Shelby play little 2A.
They won't.
They will
Oh.
not. They will not let
You
Shelby
think,
play.
Will?
They've done it the last 2 years. They made them play big 2A.
But the numbers are the numbers.
The numbers been the numbers for the last 2 years.
Really?
The numbers are the same.
You're telling me they were.
The numbers are the same.
Will,
Yeah.
125 kids don't show up at Crest next year. They're 2A.
Yeah. I mean, it's really happening across Cleveland. It's kind of funny because houses are selling like crazy. There's no kids in the school. So.
But there's no.
Wait a minute. Time out. We don't have houses to sell. That's our problem.
I know.
They're moving to Belmont.
Yeah.
And that's where South Point, the guys we're talking about, Stuart Kramer, is coming up. Because what they're getting into Belmont is not the traditional, Joel, Belmont, blue collar, redneck, mill kind of kids that are tough as nails. What they're getting is the preppy kids.
Yeah.
Their basketball team, okay, it's always been pretty good. Now they're developing golf and tennis and
soccer.
volleyball and all the, the preppy sports, if you will. Sorry.
Send those cards and letters to Dennis Davis if your kid's playing on the tennis team.
Oh, yeah. and while I'm at it, Tom, I got a gripe.
What's
about
that?
Burns to the athletic director. I check into the gate, and I'm in, and I know the people were just doing their job. They're taking in tickets. And I said, wait a minute, you've got a pass. You have to go all the way down to the field house to sign in and then walk around and come up the stairs. I'm 20 feet from the press box.
If that happens again, just call me, Dennis. I'll take care of it.
Yeah.
I'll get you in there.
Ooh.
I'll take
That
care of it.
is.
It's
gangster.
good to
That
know
is
who's
pretty
got
gangster.
the clout is.
I've been
Okay.
there.
Boy,
I've been there. I've been there
listen,
22
I'm
years.
coming to
I
the
get
next home game just so I can say, hey, call Teddy Sunday.
Just
Tommy
call
Sunday
Santa
Funny.
Funny. He'll get you.
Call,
in.
Call
call
Sunday
Tommy
Funny.
C.
But
Hey.
I'm gonna let you
Oh,
guys.
It's like the mafia. Call Tommy C.
I'm gonna let you guys have it. And this, I know this is y'all's show. I've probably taken up too much time.
Oh,
but
no. We love hearing you, Tom.
I appreciate what you guys do. I listen to you guys every week. I miss being. This is where I started out, so I miss it. And just keeping up with everything. I like going in there, talking to Terry and everything. And you guys do a great job of running down and talking about all the schools, Lincoln County, Gaston County. And I did want to talk about South Point because they really, I think, are going to turn the corner. They're going to be probably right there in the middle somewhere. They may get one game at home, maybe not, but they're going to be in the playoffs. And once they get in the playoffs or the tournament, as old Bill Parcells called it, they're going to be a tough. They're going to be a tough. They're going to be a tough. I'm telling you, they're going to be a tough.
Tournament.
Tournament.
Playoffs.
About playoffs?
They're getting better every week.
We're just trying to
they're
win a
getting better every
game.
week. But Kevin, appreciate you putting me on. And I just wanted to throw it in there real quick. Keywan Pryor, 26 carries, 265 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Typical night.
I don't know if you guys. I don't
Way
know
to
if
go,
you guys come up.
cuz.
Player of the
Way to go, Keon. Yeah, that's my-
And the
that-
cheerleader of
that's
the
my
game
cousin.
was Anna Sinafani.
Okay. let me give Boss Man back his seat. There you go.
All right.
Thank you, Tom.
All right, Terry, you got another score for us? No.
All right, we got
We gonna run down scores or?
we got another guest here for did the West Lincoln.
Oh yeah,
North
Jason
Lincoln game.
Sane.
We're going to he's going to come sit in this seat just a second. North Lincoln against West Lincoln tonight. Jason had the call with Hunter Yancey tonight, and Jason's going to join us. They it was a final score: North Lincoln 24, West Lincoln 14 tonight.
All right. Well, welcome to the club.
West Lincoln.
Tell us all about the North Lincoln, West Lincoln Rebels.
It was a good game, of course, but a little slow if you've ever seen the two teams play.
Yeah.
They're both looking to
grind it
3
out.
yards in a cloud of dust.
Yeah.
Just trying to keep the chains moving and hold the ball.
There you go.
It was an exciting game, though, because there were a couple of lead changes. North Lincoln scored first with a field goal, and West Lincoln answered with a pair of touchdowns. But unfortunately, weren't able to hold on there as they got started in the second half. North Lincoln made the better adjustments and and we're able to come back and win it. So, you know, any game where the lead changes a few
Oh,
times
yeah.
and second half comebacks
Keeps
a little
you
more
excited,
exciting.
yeah.
Even if it's a fairly slow game without, 100 points on the board between the two teams kind of thing.
Well, Jason, I've got a question. You know that conference. North Lincoln obviously looking good since they were able to win tonight. Where does this put these two teams? Because that conference seems like just a toss-up amongst a bunch of teams. Give us a breakdown on where you see and what the effect this is going to have on this conference standings.
I think those two teams are a couple of the better teams. The game could have gone either way. Again, late lead changes, it could have gone either way.
Mhm.
And particularly just starting out the second half, West Lincoln just came out a little less up to be at home than North Lincoln. And like I said, I feel like they made the better adjustments. And I think, it's North Lincoln's to lose at this point, because I feel like the two of them were, wanting to see where they stood, had West Lincoln ahead in the power poll. They were 4-0. North Lincoln had already had them a loss, but they come in and took one off of West Lincoln at West Lincoln. So that more or less lets you know where North Lincoln stands.
So where does East Lincoln fit into this picture now?
Haven't got to see East Lincoln play yet, so I don't really know. I couldn't compare them to the two
There's
teams I
some
did
bad
say.
boys over there at East Lincoln. I'm telling you, some bad boys over
I've
there.
covered an entire season of theirs, but it's been a few years back. I know they got a good program, and
Yeah,
they've always
so-
got some more
yeah.
athleticism than maybe some of the other Lincoln County teams. So I could certainly see them challenging either one of those teams, because again, neither one of them was a razzle-dazzle offense going to score quick and often. So you're relying on your defense to make stops, and then your offense to score when they have the ball, and also keep the ball for a good 3, 4, maybe even 5 and 6 minutes when you have those long 20. You start on your own 20 and
Just
eat up
grind
80
it out.
yards,
Just
one
grind
first
it
down
out.
at a time. Yeah, that's what both of those teams were looking to do. Yeah, it was old school. We mentioned that several times during the broadcast. It was enjoyable to watch an old school game. They both were running fullbacks and I formations, and 2 tailback sets. It was
They
a
still
different
do that,
game.
Joel? They still do that?
They do in West Lincoln and North Lincoln.
West Lincoln, I
West
know they
Lincoln in
run the ball.
particular, They had the fullback on the field. It was different to see. And,
It
reminded me of when I played.
Back in the day, huh?
Yeah, I played West Lincoln.
West Lincoln reminds me
Similar
of them
offense.
Mountain Boys. They run that ball and they just keep pounding.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of flash in either one, West Lincoln or North Lincoln's offense.
Yeah, and that's the way you got to do it too. Though, to be honest with you, you got to run the plays that you run the most. You got to run them effectively. You got to be able to get positive yardage out of your basic plays before you start trying to put in, reverses and halfback passes and hitch bubble screens and things like that. If you can't hand the ball off and get a couple yards straight ahead,
Fundamentals, son. Fundamentals.
You need to practice that some more. Make sure you're doing that right.
I used to coach with a guy by the name of Max Beam, and he was known for 3 yards in a cloud of dust, and it was look at here, and fundamentals.
Yeah.
That was all old time, hard nosed slobber knocker football.
Always ask South Point if it works.
Yeah.
Can you do that? Can you get away with that and win championships?
Yes.
And go to distance, make playoffs? You sure can. You just got to be really, really good at it.
Yeah.
So you run those same.
And how do you get
plays
good
day
at
in
it?
and day out.
Practice. Start those kids when they're about 8 years old, and by the time they're juniors and seniors, it runs like butter.
Keeping them groups together and all running the same offense from Pee Wee on up too helps a lot. The way they do out in Shelby.
Yeah.
Where
Oh,
they got the
Kings
same
Mountain.
playbook from the time they're kids to the time they're in high school. So they could take a guy off the JV team, plug him right in there, and they're running the same plays. He knows what's going on.
Joel sitting over here, Kings Mountain grinning like a possum. Kings Mountain youth football is the secret to where you guys are at today, right, Joel?
Yeah,
Kings Mountain Elite really changed.
they got the elite, then they got the old Pop Warner too. So
Yeah, but Pop Warner, the problem with Pop Warner,
Yeah.
and send those cards and letters to Will Boykins. It's
I'll take them.
they got this
I'll
weight
take 'em.
limit.
Yeah.
Fat kids and big kids can't play. So how do they get good at what they're doing? You have the elite level where it's like run what you brung kind of thing, and
Yeah.
those kids can develop because those are going to be your varsity players,
Yeah.
not the little skinny kid over there that's playing tackle. He's
At
going to be the water
135.
boy.
Everybody on the field is 135, and Pop Warner are everybody on the field is 90 pounds. It just depends on where you at Pop Warner. Nothing against Pop Warner program.
Yeah,
that's nothing against Pop Warner football.
Yeah, I had a cousin. He wasn't allowed to play middle school ball but he was the biggest boy on the team. But he had to go back to to Union Road to play out there, and he was too big to play for them, so they had to go somewhere else.
Tell that to the guys in the NFL. I'm sorry, but you're too big to play for the Cowboys.
All right, guys, we got a caller, but before we get to the caller, I just want, Will and Joel and Dennis, you might not know Jason as well as I do, and Jason is a professor at Gaston College, but more importantly, Jason has helped out a few folks in the Boone area carry out a goalpost before. How about them Mountaineers, Jason?
Oh my God!
How about them Mountaineers, Jason?
That's great.
Are you an Appalachian graduate, sir?
Yes, twice.
You are a Boone guy.
Twice.
Graduated and decided it was so much fun I was going to go right back.
Well,
so you got your master in?
Hey,
yeah.
The best thing is the photos of Jason carrying the goalpost down the street.
I remember those.
In the paper.
We took. That made the paper.
Yeah, they had pictures of the whole group of us coming out.
Oh my goodness!
What do you mean us, Kimosabe?
We were in the front of the air.
I thought you were talking about those pictures you took with your cell phone that time, where we took turns taking each other's pictures running down Main Street. You was holding the goalpost, cheesing it up, and I was cheesing it up while you took pictures, but. I didn't know they got us in the actual
If only the
paper.
duck pond could talk.
I was cut off in the one in the paper. You were actually, when you were on the goalpost part, they got a good one of you in one of them. But
be more specific. I've ran that goalpost down Main Street
what
on
I'm
three
saying.
different occasions, but I know the exact one you're talking about. I definitely know the one you're talking about. I'm pretty sure that was shortly after they put in the goalpost that we weren't supposed to tear down.
Yeah.
Like it was more permanent.
Yeah.
And we tore it down
you-
anyway, and then
Yeah.
the next one they put in was one of those breakaway goals where they can pull the pin right at the end of the game and it'll just fall down and
You
don't
young
really
kids.
break it. So our response to that was to tear it into 3 pieces and throw it into the duck pond. So even though they had brought a breakaway goalpost,
yeah, we broke them away.
we decided that was not going to fly. And
You
that thing
young
probably needed to be in
whippersnappers.
3 separate
Jason,
pieces.
that was more of a dare, right?
I wasn't in on the breaking of the goalpost. I'll carry it down Main
no.
Street, but I didn't really want to tear it into 3 pieces and throw it in the pond. but that's what
this past
happened
weekend
anyway.
in Chapel Hill, I was in the middle of it, and there was upset fans all around me. The lady next to me was actually the PA announcer's wife.
Just tell her she was lucky we weren't carrying their football
Well,
goalpost
there-
down Main Street.
Yes, I asked them if they had a duck pond around here.
Yes.
She didn't know what I was talking about, but her daughter went to App, was sitting 2 seats down.
I'm still a little
She knew
disappointed.
exactly what I was talking
I'm still a little
about.
disappointed we never got Chattanooga's goalpost.
I
They were
know.
ready for
We
us.
tried for that.
They were ready for us. Every
They-
time we won the championship, they surrounded the goalpost immediately because they knew we was coming on
They
the
had
field.
heard about you and Kevin.
Well,
Dennis,
that's
I
a-
asked a few people in the
state.
Carolina stands if they knew that they were aware that they were actually coming to a football game. This was not a basketball game.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a
my
minute. Did you guys
goodness.
have any wine and cheese while you were in Chapel
Well,
Hill?
Now, I saw a lot of they are selling alcohol now at college games, and I think I was told by Tar Heel insider that Carolina had $70,000 in alcohol sales the first weekend. I don't know what they did after that, but they only got like two booths on each side, so 4 booths sold $70,000 in alcohol in
That's
in
crazy.
the first Carolina game.
Yeah, but they
That's
probably
crazy.
charged $300 a beer or
Yeah,
something.
They were
I
like
bet you.
$8. All right, we
Was
got a
that the
caller.
Mountaineer game or?
The
I
one
was
out
about to
that was
say,
the
I have a
earlier
hard time
game.
selling that much alcohol to the Mountaineers. We've been sneaking it in for years.
But
we didn't start selling alcohol out until the past few years.
But the Mountaineers bring
we
theirs
do all
in.
the tricks.
The Mountaineers bring theirs in a jug with a corn cob. in it.
It comes in a mason jar.
You gotta check the socks for mini bottles. You gotta check the cell phone cases.
The voice of
Probably not a phone
experience,
in there.
folks.
Listen, if you want to keep the Mountaineers from bringing out alcohol, you better have some rubber gloves on.
Ooh, body cavity search. All right, caller, who we
We
got?
Rob Roop on the phone. He wants to
Oh.
hear the Eagles fly. Yes, don't you, Rob?
Oh no,
He,
no.
he wants to talk to the Packers fan. Well,
Oh
wait a minute.
my goodness.
How about Rob? Let's try Rob. I might not have put him in right. How about there's Rob? Rob, you there?
There you are, guys.
Hey, I got you
Well,
right.
yeah,
bud.
I was going to call in. We was going to talk about the Eagles. What a great win Thursday night. But I'm glad you turned your attention to college football.
Oh Lord.
Because
I'm glad you
my
turned
thought
your attention to
was-
college football.
I was trying to figure out, guys, what a hokey was.
Yeah.
Now I know exactly what it is. It's a tenderized chicken. After my Blue Devils went up to Virginia Tech tonight and laid a 45-10 beatdown, we all know the best team in the state of North Carolina, and it's over in Durham. But bring the happy-happies off the mountain. Come over to Wallace Wade and play a real football team. Let's get it on.
You've been hanging around Andy Foster too much. You are Robbie Foster now.
careful what you wish for.
Listen, most of y'all's fans are in New Jersey right now. I don't want to hear that.
Hey, that's all. Hey, so it was a short drive to get to Virginia Tech. A lot quicker to get there than Durham. But
That is true.
Oh, Lord.
but seriously, guys, a great night for Cleveland County. Congratulations to all 4 teams getting off to a 1-0 start. You know, it's like I talked to Coach Eddings after the game for the interview. You know, tonight started a new season. You know, everybody's 0-0 now. You've got to win these conference games. If you're going to go to the playoffs, you've got to win conference games. That started tonight.
The Chargers are undefeated in conference play.
Yeah, and Dennis, I tell you the thing, again, we know there's some issues that's got to be worked out on the defensive side of the ball.
Oh, sure.
I've not seen Crest play like that defensively in a long time. But I like tonight, the thing I'm seeing is it's the growing up of that young offensive line. Last week you passed for over 300 yards. This week you got 2 backs go well for over 100 yards rushing. So it's good to see those kids able to grow up a little bit. Again, get the questions on defense settled out. Kings Mountain is still by far the favorite in the Big South. I think Hunter Hus could be put in that conversation as well. But get better week after week and see what happens. Again, guys, White Creek on Burns, a great win for their program. Everybody wants to talk about the matchup. And I told Tim driving back from Gaston County, the Bulldogs took care of Shelby last year. And it's like Tom said, I keep handing the ball to number 8 and dare Shelby to try to stop it.
Oh yeah, I would too. I mean, without a doubt, you give the ball to Keywan Pryor, you're gonna have good things happen. But Keywan's not the only player that they have. They have some great receivers there. You got the Twitty kid. You got the Leslie kid.
Sweezy's not bad.
Sweezy's not a bad quarterback. So.
And we got to remember last year too, guys. Watching that Burns team, remember they were in every game they played last year in the first half. But they got where they couldn't move the chains, and it forced that defense to spend so much time on the field. Or when they did, Keywan would take it 80 yards. So basically, you didn't get no break for your defense.
Right.
This year, you've got an offense that can methodically move down the field. Yes, they can hit the big play when they need to, but they can also string some first downs together. That's going to help make that defense better too.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, that's a reciprocal thing, Rob, as you know.
Right.
Defense that can stop a team like South Point from just grinding it down the field, and then get off and get their rest while the offense comes back on and takes the ball methodically down the field like you're talking about. Quick strikes, and the defense is back on the field. By the fourth quarter, their tongues are hanging out.
A perfect example of a program that you've seen that would have great regular season that would do that is a team like Irwin up the mountain.
Yes.
Man, they could get out there and offensively they could hit things in 2 seconds if they're down the field for a score. But you know what? They couldn't stop anybody because their defense never got to leave the field.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, let me get off here. I just wanted to holler at you for a minute.
Let me congratulate you, your Eagles last night on my Packers being inside the 1 2 times last night and not calling the run play and giving y'all's first second win of the season. So let me congratulate you on that victory we gave you last night.
It's unusual for me to be able to go into a football weekend, and I've already seen my Eagles win. I know the Blue Devils have already won, which I'm fixing to go watch, and I also know the Crest has won. I ain't even got to Saturday yet. It's already a great football weekend.
Oh, Robbie. Well, all I want to know is, did Rodgers call Russell Wilson to get that last play down there?
It's the exact same play. I mean, it's the
Come on,
exact
man.
same play.
It didn't work for Seattle. Why do you think it's going to work for you?
The guy that ran across with him on that play, naked, on the other side of the end zone, butt naked. Nobody's there. We didn't throw the ball over the top to him. We tried to force it in where 2 people pulled up the game.
Hey, my thing for the Packers, I got 4 downs. I'm on the 2-yard line. At some point, I got to run the football.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
That's
guys, 2 series we done there.
Yeah, let me get off here, guys. I'll talk to you later.
Thank you, Robbie.
All right, see you now.
See you next week. All right. Joel, you want to get in on this the Green Bay? Is it Packers? What is it up there?
Oh, yeah. I said on the 1-yard line, they're trying to pass. Come on.
Yeah. I mean,
call Seattle and ask them how that works.
It doesn't. It don't. The one thing I can say, the difference between our call and Seattle's call, you're in the Super Bowl, and just because they said don't let him be the MVP, don't give him the ball. I don't care how you get it in, just don't give the ball to Marshawn Lynch.
Mm-hmm.
And you get that call, and that's what happens.
Well, what you should have
throw
done.
you don't throw that cross in the middle of the field. Listen, I'm a Packers fan. I want to say that was pass interference, but I'm also a realist, and I'm going to say, why didn't we run the ball? We had 4 downs right there. We just ran it from the outside the 5 down to inside the 1.
Well, I'm wondering if you're calling Super Bowl plays, why didn't you call with a Philly special? Roger's afraid to catch the ball.
I am sure something didn't go right there, but the call being made right there for us to try to force the ball into between two people, regardless of whether he got pass interference or not. That was the second time we was inside the 5 with a chance to score in that game and never run the ball.
I'm sure it'll be discussed tomorrow morning on the sports show right here from 8 to 10 with
sure.
Terry
Yes,
Reinhardt.
sir.
Are you going to be on that show?
I will not be on that show in the morning. I think I do that show every once in a while. But
Yeah.
I have to get up.
Tomorrow is a
way
good day
too
not
early.
for you to be on it.
Yeah, I'm not coming in the morning.
Okay.
But we'll be discussing it Wednesday for sure
On
WLON.
Yeah.
On the Best in Sports.
All right. Well, Will, why don't you take that board over there and give us all the scores? And
All
Joel,
right, we're
if
gonna
you'll
run
take this
down
one
the
over here.
scores and give y'all a little update on the scores. I think all of them are in. We got East Lincoln over Lake Norman Charter, 48-16. Watauga over South Caldwell, 56-12. East Burke over West Caldwell, 35-12. Drone over West Iredale, 38-28. Fred T. Ford over Patton, 26-14. Artist Central over East Rutherford, 35-28. Newton Conover over Lincolnton, 34-12. Freedom over St. Stephen's, 48-12. Hickory over McDowell, 20-14. High Brighton over Bunker Hill, 28-6.
Joel, if you'll take the rest of those.
All right. The Shelby Golden Lions won big over East Gaston tonight, 50-0. Kings Mountain over Stuart Kramer, 69-16. Hunter Huss, 56. North Gaston 0. Mayton squeezed by Bandies tonight, 30-23. And Bester City edged Mount Island Charter, 20-19. Union Academy won big over Christ the King, 60-0. And we don't have no score on Highland Tech and
Community School of Davidson.
And Chase, 50. Madison 0. And Crest Chargers won a thriller over Forsyth, 35-28. The Northland Knights won 24 over West Lincoln, 14. And the Burns Bulldogs won on a field goal, 30-28. And Thomas Jefferson big over Cherryville, 64-0.
All right, folks, that's the scores we have right now. Kevin, we're ready for a break. Take it away.
People are talking about The Boss.
I listen to you every day. Love it. I listen to it at home. I listen to it in my car.
The Boss, 101.5 FM, 1390 AM, WOHS, Shelby. We make your workday fly by.
It gets me through my day.
Better music for a better workday.
101.5 FM and 1390 AM, WOHS, Shelby. The Boss.
Well, I told you we was taking a break. I didn't tell you what kind of break. Hold on. I didn't tell you what kind of break.
Oh my goodness!
I'm going back to the registrar in Boone and check the schedule to see if you actually graduated
Yes,
up
I
there.
did. I lost the I lost the commercial list. I don't know what JP did in my list
Okay.
here. So we got 2 in, and so I just figured, everybody wanted to
That's
get
close enough.
some Mountaineer.
Well, I would have liked to got a warning that we was coming back.
You didn't need to know. All you had to do was listen.
It's all about having your headsets on, Will.
Terry, give the scores, Terry. I want you to start, though, with the RS Central East Rutherford game. I listened to a little bit of that going up and down the road tonight, and that was a crazy game, Terry.
Yes, it was. And for a lot of people, they thought, hey, East Rutherford's going to have a victory. They jumped out 28-7, and then they got outscored 28-0. And RS Central comes from behind to defeat East Rutherford 35-28.
There is no joy in Forest City.
No
or
lie.
Bostic, excuse me. Bostic.
Well, I mean, if you are a RS Central person, you're loving that score.
That's Forest City.
Forest
City,
That's
like
what
it.
I'm saying.
That's
anyway.
Rutherford. That's Rutherford.
Rutherford. Yeah. In the Southern Piedmont 1A Conference, it was Bessemer City 20, Mountain Island Charter 19. If you heard it on our pregame show, a few of us did take Bessemer City to win this one. Bessemer
few of us.
City leads this all-time series 5-0. It was Thomas Jefferson 64, Cherryville 0. Thomas Jefferson leads this all-time series 6-1. The only win for Cherryville come back in 2016, a 35-34 victory. It was Union Academy had no trouble with Christ the King. Union Academy 60, Christ the King 0. Newton Conover defeats Lincoln in 34-12. What an all-time series this is. Newton Conover leads this all-time series 26, 25, and 3.
Now that's a rivalry.
That's a rivalry. Lake Norman Charter loses to East Lincoln 48-6. East Lincoln has never lost to Lake Norman Charter, 5-0 all time. North Lincoln closes the gap on West Lincoln in the all-time series to 8-7 as North Lincoln defeats West Lincoln 24-14. In another battle, as some people call it a rivalry, I do not. It's my own opinion. Maiden defeats Bandy's 30-23.
How many?
It is. Maiden leads all-time series 50-14-3.
That's not a rivalry.
First 28 games in this series, Maiden had them 25-0-3. So as we go on in the Southwestern Athletic 2A Conference, Shelby no trouble with East Gaston.
Cut you in the morning.
But hey, we all knew this was going to happen after Shelby took that whooping last week, and then they took it out on East Gaston.
They were mad as a bunch of wet hornets.
And again, we went over East Rutherford losing to RS Central 35-28.
Now that's a long-standing series. Is that a rivalry? Do you have their?
I do not have it in front of me, but I do have it. But I do not have it in front of me.
In the Terry book.
Yes.
The Bible of high school football.
It was Burns kicking a field goal late to defeat South Point 30-28. Chase had no trouble with Madison 50-0. Madison's been outscored this year 307-26 and been held scoreless 4 times.
So that's why you picked Chase.
Pretty easy. Northwestern Foothills 2A Conference. It was High Brighton 28, Bunker Hill 6. High Brighton leads this series 12-4. It was Drawn 38, West Iredale 28. Fritty Ford over Patton 26-14 to even that series all time at 4-4. East Burke defeats West Caldwell 35-12, giving West Caldwell their 19th straight loss. It was big in the Big South 3A Conference. It was Crest 35, Forest View 28 in an exciting game. It was Hunter Huss 56, North Gaston 0. Kings Mountain no trouble with Stuart Kramer 69-16. In the Northwestern 3A 4A Conference, Hickory now leads this series 14-7 as they defeat McDowell 20-14. Watauga defeats South Caldwell 56-12. Freedom upends on St. Stephen's 48-12. Freedom leads that all-time series 7-0. And guys, that is our scores from tonight. But I will throw in one big one for the people around here. Everybody around here knows Reedsville. Well, tonight Reedsville was defeated by East Surrey 55-49. That was the number 1 versus the number 2 team or 3 team in what poll you look at in the 2A bracket.
All right, I got a caller on the line real quick. Just 1 minute to him. He wants to congratulate his teams. We do got one other big score across the state, Terry, that we've got to get out. Everyone in the state wants to know about. 34-32, Appalachian State beats University of North Carolina Tar Heels. Statewide score, just letting everybody know. All right, we got Bobby on the line for a minute. Bobby, just tell us a little bit about your lines. You got 1 minute, bub. We got to get out of here soon.
Just want to say I'm proud of my Golden Lions tonight as they won 50-0. And on top of that, I'll say congratulations to all county high school teams. They won tonight, and from what I can see, the conference is really tightening up on all the teams, and it's going to be a pretty interesting conference for all the Cleveland County teams. And again, I say congratulations.
Well, Bobby, that's awfully good of you to call in and keep up with us. We appreciate your calls each week, and you and Steve DeGree keep us updated on the lines. Thank you very much for your call, Bobby.
Well, go Cleveland County, and all the and again, congratulations, especially to the Chevy Golden Lions.
Thanks
All
for calling,
right.
Bobby. We'll talk to you next week.
I think if you'll stand by, folks, that the
Oh,
upcoming
boy.
poll,
Oh, boy.
the Kevin poll, not the Cleveland What's Up Shopper poll, but the Kevin poll will give you the top rankings of this week.
It's
Kevin,
the What's
take
Up
it away.
Shopper
Can y'all hear me over there?
Power poll.
I can hear you.
I
Can
can't
you
hear
hear
you.
I can hear you now.
All right, because I don't have any headphones on, so I got to go with that.
Oh, here, you want mine?
First of all, no, that's good. First of all, it started off as the Calvin Hastings poll. Then we made a few slight adjustments. Then we made a few more adjustments.
It's
and
the
all
What's
been
Up
to help,
Shoppers
and it's
Power
turned into
Poll.
the What's Up Shopper Power Poll. I do not have any opinion over anything on this poll. You learn what you earn. The standard is the standard wheel, right?
Just like Mike Trout.
Yeah, he's terrible. Top 15. I got that set
Meanwhile,
up for tonight.
back at the poll.
I got to put him on the poll.
Best
so
ball player in baseball, and he's
number
he's terrible.
15. Listen, Will, real quick. We ain't got time for all that. He has never won a playoff game. Game, not series. Game in 9 years. Not too good if you can't win a playoff game.
Oh, boy.
1
How about
point.
them
Number
Braves?
15, 3-1 on the season. Goes the Union Academy Cardinals. They're number 15.
Union Academy
in the
Cardinals.
Power Poll.
Congratulations, Union Academy.
Number 14 in the Power Poll. Moving on up a little bit, I guess, in the Power Poll.
Moving on up.
After the big win tonight over Lincoln and the Newton Conover Red Devils, they've got 4 Power Points, and they're
proved me
3-2 on the
I picked
season.
them on the South Florida 2A pregame show. I picked Lincoln to win that game. They proved me wrong.
You know, me and Hunter tried to tell you guys, but one of these days.
I
we'll listen.
know.
No, we just saw them play. They gave, they didn't score or do anything really too much to Kings Mountain, but in that jamboree, they played really well. I thought to what they were going up against, and nobody plays good against Kings Mountain, really.
I mean, the week before they didn't play that great against Burns either. So
Yeah.
I thought defense, they're soft. That may gave them a little bit more motivation.
Number 13 in the Power Poll, the Bandy's Trojans. They lose tonight to the Maiden Blue Devils. They fall to 3-2 on the season, down to number 13, just ahead of the Newton Conover Red Devils.
Wasn't they up at the first of the thing?
Yeah, near earlier.
wasn't
Now,
that
last
long
year they
ago.
finished 4th in the season.
No, it was this year. It was way up
They
there.
were 2nd or 3rd or 4th earlier in the season. I can't remember exactly. Number 12, Terry. They got all the way up to 5. They had their chance tonight. The West Lincoln Rebels fall tonight, 4-1 on the season, with 5 total power points.
You let me down, Terry. You let me down.
Halftime sequences. We lost a couple games my senior year. The other team scored and got the ball back at the half. In close games, along with along with special teams, Terry, that could be a big difference. I remember, like I said, we were 2 games we lost, we could have won. It just ended up being they scored then got the ball back, scored again, and we went back and forth, and we just could never catch up. So tonight, West Lincoln, they didn't score at the end of the half after
They had an
turnover. They got the
opportunity,
ball back at the 50. They go for it on 4th down. So a lot of that there at the half, right over at West Lincoln.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you have opportunities, and you got to take advantage of them. If you don't fumble right before the half, and at least you kick a field goal, that puts you up by 7. Then you come out in the second half, and you can put a dagger in another team if you go down. But when you have to go for it on 4th down on your own side of the field, sometimes that costs you.
All right, Terry, just ahead of the Rebels now, and then at the 11th spot, they jump up in front of the Rebels with 6 power points. 4 on the one on the season is the North Lincoln Knights. We just saw them play tonight. So what a good matchup up there between those two teams. And what you say is West Lincoln's main rivalry according to records, right?
Yeah.
All right. Just ahead of North Lincoln. Let's get into the top 10. Guys, y'all ready for the top 10? So North Lincoln was 11. That means number 10 in our power poll with a big win in Cherryville tonight. The Thomas Jefferson Griffins. They move up into the top 10. Of course, my sticky doesn't work if you're watching online on YouTube. We'll get them in there. I got to get a better system than that. Thomas Jefferson's undefeated, guys. 6-0 on the season. I was told just by tonight watching them play, and we'll talk maybe Coach Ward tomorrow. Pretty good team in Thomas Jefferson. They could
How many
give
points
a
they
lot
gave
of
up?
2A teams. 64 tonight.
I mean, how many points have they gave up all year long?
Who, Cherv?
Thomas Jefferson.
Oh, Thomas Jefferson coming into tonight, 6 points, Terry.
That's what I thought.
5-0,
Total.
Will. 6 points on defense.
Well, coming in tonight, my fellow friends were only giving up 40 points on the year, and it's only because they gave up 21 last week and hadn't gave up but 19 before then. So I was rolling with my Rebels of the West Lincoln, counting on their defense. Gave up 24 on me tonight.
Well, looky yonder, Will, who slipped in.
Number 9 in the power poll. Up in the top 10, the Crest Chargers make their way back in after winning tonight. Down in Forest View. Tough win tonight, 35-28 on the road. Forest View's already beat Southpoint this year, right, guys?
Yes.
All right. That leaves us number 8 in the power poll, the Hilltoppers. Comeback, big comeback from behind win. We were talking about that. 7 power points, 4-2 on the season for the RS Central Hilltoppers. That leaves us at number 7, the Trojans of Chase.
All right, Trojans.
Are number 7 in the power poll, guys. 2 teams up there in Rutherford County combined.
Watch out, Shelby.
That's because I got a couple of Crest coaches.
Are 10-0.
They got some boys that came from
Are
Cleveland
10-0.
County coaching in there.
Chase tonight gave up nothing. Combined, Thomas Jefferson and Chase, 10-0, 30 points total. 10 games, 30 points up there in Rutherford County. So playing some good football up there with the Hilltoppers and the Trojans. I'm excited to see what they throw at South Point and Burns and these guys here in the next couple of weeks. They've been playing out of conference really well. Yeah,
they're going to run into the conference.
Number 6, Will, is the Maiden Blue Devils at 4-1. Willie Byrne in the game. They've got 8 power points on the season. So Blue Devils make the top line if you're watching on YouTube.
Yeah, Hunter, that's win number 50 over Bandies.
You can remind him in the morning, Terry.
Win number 50, Hunter.
Hey, bring Hunter a humble pie for breakfast.
Hey, I think he wants some humble pie.
Hey, this one's for Nelson's watching at home. Number 5, the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs are in the top 5.
Go Bulldogs.
The top 4 is going to stay the same, but past that, the Bulldogs have moved into the top 5 in local standings, folks. The Shelby Golden Lions 4, Hunter Huss 3, East Lincoln 2, Kings Mountain 1. The power points work out. Kings Mountain 16, East Lincoln 13, Huss 12, Shelby 10, and Burns 10. Shelby and Burns keep winning out. They'll play each other in a couple weeks. The winner will take the higher seed.
It's going to be a ball
in the
game.
power polls. Isn't that crazy how that works out, Terry?
You?
You just keep winning. You play each other.
It'll
One goes
all
higher than
figure
the
out
other.
at the end.
It's going to be a ball game.
It all
right
figures
there.
out in the end. Well, folks, we're going to let Terry and Will and Joel and them wrap up the show in just a second. We want to say...
Make sure you put on the schedule in the morning.
Uh-oh.
I'm coming so I can have this discussion. First thing, because I got to go to work, I got to get out of here by 40 after the clock. But first thing, I want to talk to little baseball when we get here in the morning, and a little bit Eagles, Packers. I want nobody calling it they beat us because we beat ourselves. I'm gonna talk about that in the morning.
Baseball. You talking about the
Football.
Braves?
I'm gonna talk a little baseball because we got the playoffs coming up for the baseball.
If y'all wouldn't have
Playoffs.
Aaron Rodgers who throws interceptions when he shouldn't, y'all might have won.
He learned it from Russell Wilson, man.
Well, if they hadn't been hanging it all over my man at the end zone.
Packers quarterbacks have been throwing picks since Don Mikowski, so it's
I usually don't worry about it. Aaron
13-time world champion Packers to you, sir.
All I know is Aaron Rodgers, when he plays the Cowboys, he lights us up. So that's all I got to say.
Well, everybody, I want to thank. Let me get us some quick news and notes on tonight. I did get some stats that were sent in to me from some of our broadcasters, some of our players of the games. Raquelin Mack had 7 carries, 107 yards for you folks that were
7 carries.
Earlier. Yeah, that's it.
107 yards.
Yeah. It's not a bad average. Not a bad average. Shelby Golden Lions offensive player of the game, Donye Fuller, 7 carries, 70 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 catches, 44 yards. Defensive player of the game, Jimmy Whiston had 3 tackles for the loss for the Golden Lions. And the overall player of the game, Camardi Husky, 1 catch, 25 yards, 2 punt returns for touchdowns tonight, 1 of 48, 1 of 55 yards. Overall player of the game at the Cherryville Ironman tonight, Andrew Beam. Defensive player of the game, Austin Thompson. Kristen Hahn, overall player of the game. Kristen Hahn, overall player of the game. Andrew Beam, defensive player of the game. And Austin Thompson, the offensive player of the game for the Cherryville Ironman. Over there for Kings Mountain, some stats for them real quick. Ethan Reed, 3 touchdown passes, 2 rushing touchdowns. Kings Mountain forced 5 turnovers tonight. Raquelin Mack, 102 yards on 7 carries. Folks, if you want us to read your team stats, send them to us. We've got all kinds of people here. Get someone's cell phone. We'll take a text. Tweet at us, KTC Broadcasting, KTC Score, hashtag KTC Scores. Call us, tell us on Facebook if you got some stats. If you got any highlights or anything like that you want us to put on our page, we'll be more than happy to do that. And we want to remind you, again, in the morning, we'll be talking a little bit about the high school sports. We'll give you guys the scores, a couple thoughts here. Hunter was at a game. He'll give you thoughts from that and more. Coach Pruitt of Cherryville will call. But tomorrow we'll be talking NFL with Will. He wants to talk a little baseball. 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. If you can't get up that early on a Saturday, Will.
Get up.
You can always watch the replay on YouTube later, right? So
yeah,
if you can't catch us in the morning, watch it on YouTube. Will Boyk is going to stop by a little bit. Tom Sinafani will be in the morning. Hunter Yancey, myself, Terry Reinhardt. We're going to have a full house in the morning. Tom said he's got to come take his medicine, that he's ready to listen to the Appalachian State fight song for about 2 hours tomorrow. So I told him
how
to
did
get
that
ready
UNCC Clemson game turn out, Tom?
I'm not sure on that one.
No, it wasn't that good. So before I give these scores, Kenny Link told me, Kenny Link from WLON texted me.
Good guy. Yeah.
He said, I told you the score, I predicted the score correctly, and he did. 24-14, North Lincoln. And North Lincoln held the ball for 7 minutes in the second half to close the game out. So I just want to let Kenny Link, I know I read his text. He talking junk, so I'll deal with him Wednesday when I get up there on Best in Sports. Yeah. All right, tonight we had East Lincoln 48.
Go ahead, I'm just messing.
Lake Norman Charter 6. Watauga 56. South Caldwell 12. East Burke 35. West Caldwell 12. Drone 38. West Iredale 28. Ford 26. Patton 14. East Rutherford falls to RA Central 35-28. Newton Conover 34 to 12 over Lincoln. Freedom 48 to 12 over St. Stephen's. Hickory 20 to 14 over McDowell, and High Brighton 28 to 6 over Bunker Hill.
Union Academy 60, Christ the King 0. Chase 50-0 over Madison. It was Bessemer City 20-19 over Mountain Island. It was Maiden over Bandy's tonight, 30-23. Hunter Huss over North Gaston tonight, 56-0. The Shelby Golden Lions bounced back with a 50-0 beating down of East Gaston Warriors. And Joel, the Kings Mountain Mountaineers tonight managed to squeak by Stuart Kramer, 69-16.
Fresh Chargers over Forestry Jaguars, 35-28. North Lincoln Knights won over West Lincoln 24-14. And the Burns Bulldogs squeaked by South Point Red Rays 30-28, and Thomas Jefferson Big over Cherryville Ironman 64-0.
All right.
Terry, any final words and thoughts from you?
Not really. I mean,
deal with you
another
in the morning.
first week of high school in the conference play. Everything builds up from here. You know, if you lose in week one, then you put yourself in a tough spot. You got to win a few. You know, I mean, hey, it's not over. It's only game one. You got to
All right,
hope
guys.
somebody else knocks somebody off.
Next week on KTC Broadcasting, Cherryville Ironman at Community School of Davidson. Crest Chargers hosting the Kramer Storm. Well, that'll be on YouTube.
Playoffs.
Lincoln and East Lincoln will be on WLON next week.
Okay.
Kings Mountain hosting the North Gaston Wildcats. And
Can
Shelby
you score
Golden
100?
Lions, Shelby Golden Lions hosting the Hilltoppers. And that'll be the broadcast. I skipped over the Bulldogs. They're hosting the Chase Trojans, folks. And that'll be KTC broadcasting next Friday night.
That'll be
That's a
interesting.
Chase Trojan, undefeated Chase Trojan.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Playing their first Clifton County team.
Look at the board. What is that? Number 5 versus number 7?
Oh, boy.
Ooh, next week.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in tonight. KTC broadcasting live on YouTube. I'm Kevin Hastings along with Will Boykins, Joel Clemmer, Terry Reinhardt, Dennis Davis, and the rest of the folks. You've been watching and listening to KTC Broadcasting. We'll see you tomorrow morning on Saturday Morning Sports Talk, KTC Broadcasting.